of Eid should begin with, as many of the scholars have said, to perform ghusl as we do on Jum'ah, to put on our best clothes. It does not have to be new clothes. This is some kind of a new idea that you have to wear new clothes on Eid. No, Rasulullah used to have a particular outfit which was his best, and he wore it on Eid and at times on Jum'ah, but it wasn't new every year. So if you can't afford new clothes, it's okay. You still wear the best that you have. So you wear your best clothes, you dress nice, and before going for Salah, you eat. Why? Because this is the day that we celebrate our Eid, our celebration. We're not fasting this day. That is why the ulama have said it's haram. It is forbidden to fast on the day of Eid. The day of Eid, we eat something before going for Salah. Eid al-Adha, the etiquettes are that you don't eat. You go, you pray first, you pray early, and then you do your udhiyah, and then you eat from the meat. But Eid al-Fitr that we have coming up, the sunnah is that you eat. If nothing else, some dates. An odd number of dates is proven to be eaten from the Prophet ﷺ. And then when you go out, you have takbirat. The takbirat to say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. To say it in this way, and also saying Allahu Akbar 3 times has also been narrated by the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. To say these takbirat from the night before, because Islamically the night before begins the next day. So the night of Eid is the night before the day of Eid. To start making these takbirat, even when you're walking around, but especially when you're going for the Eid Salah. For the men, it is to make the takbirat out loud. For the women, it is to make them silently. But for both men and women to recite the takbirat is from the sunnah, and this is from the ibadat, the worship that has to do with Eid. When you're going out for Eid, for men to wear their best clothing and to make them there in an Islamic manner is something mustahab, not in an un-Islamic manner. Some of the people, in trying to wear nice, men wear silk or gold, or they wear things that reveal their body shape, which is haram, their aura and so on. That is not permissible. For our sisters, when they're around other sisters or family, to wear their best clothing, but when they're going for the Eid Salah, to be covered up in the proper Islamic etiquettes. This is from the Sharia. Now, going to the Eid Salah by itself is an ibadah. It has its own rules. The Prophet ﷺ used to go from one path and come back from a different path. The great ulama of Islam like Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali and others, they explain, they said this is to show the strength of the Muslims. So you both paths, the people see the unity of the Muslims, they hear the takbirat, they see the Muslims' presence, they feel it, and it's a da'wah. People here in the US, for example, when we're going out and the people see hundreds of Muslims, sometimes thousands of Muslims dressed in a way that shows them to be Muslims, making the takbirat, going from one way, the other people, when you're coming back from a different path, seeing you coming back, it's a da'wah right there for them to see the presence of Islam. When you are going for the Eid Salah, it is from the sunnah for people to go together and to go in groups. So the family, for example, to go together. And this is something that unites the ummah. And to, if you can, park somewhere so you can walk a little. Because from the sunnah is to walk to the place of Eid. The place of Eid should be outside. From the sunnah is not to pray in a masjid, rather to pray in an open ground. And that's why in most of the Muslim lands you find an open place where they pray the Eid. And inshallah we'll continue in the next episode with the rest of the etiquettes. When you get to the place of Eid, it is not from the sunnah to start making nawafil there. Rather, it's from the sunnah to go sit down. Unless the Eid is being prayed in a masjid, then you have to make your rak'atayn, your 2 rak'ah for the masjid. But if it's being prayed outside, then this is not a masjid. And that is a sunnah to pray it outside. You just go sit down, and when the khatib comes, you stop the takbirat. The khatib will begin first with the salah. Unlike Jum'ah, where you have the khutbah and then the salah, in the Eid, it will be the salah, then the khutbah. There is no adhan and no iqama for Eid. There is no adhan, no iqama. When the imam comes and he begins, you just get up and start. When the imam comes, he will make rak'atayn. He will make 2 rak'at, 2 units of prayer. In the first one, he will make the takbir and then make 6 additional takbirat. Now, there is some khilaf of madahib and things, but what we see from the most authentic of narrations is this. You make the first takbir, which is what you do regularly in salah. The imam will make 6 additional takbirat. With each one, you will say Allahu Akbar and raise the hands. So you begin Allahu Akbar, then 6 more times with the Imam. You say Allahu Akbar, raising the hands every time and bringing them back to the folded position in the middle. When you're done with the 7 takbirat, 1 was a takbirat al-ihram and 6 additional, then the Imam will recite al-Fatiha, and then he will recite something from the Quran. Different narrations have mentioned Surah Al-Ala and then Ghashiyah and so on to be recited in the Salah, but anything from the Quran can be recited there. After that, the Imam will go into ruku' and get up from ruku' as regularly done in Salah, in sujood and so on. When the Imam gets up for the second rak'ah, he will say a takbir to get up, and he will mention 5 additional takbirat. So the takbir to get up, that's a regular, and then 5 additional takbirat, raising the hands every time, and then folding them in the middle, and then raising them, saying Allahu Akbar every time. And you as followers, you will also raise the hands and say Allahu Akbar every time with the Imam. And this is something very important, as we know from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is Hasan, that is a reliable narration. When you make that raf'ah, you get 1 reward per finger. So 10 rewards per takbir when you're raising the hands, right? So we don't want to lose out on this reward. First rak'ah, it'll be a total of 7. The second rak'ah, it'll be a total of 5. And then after that, the Imam will recite al-Fatiha and Surah Al-Ghashiyah or something else from the Quran. And then they will finish the Salah as any other Salah. But, very important, when the Imam finishes, he will get up and he will address the people. Now this is the Eid khutbah. This is the important aspect of that day, is to hear that message. And it is so important that the Prophet ﷺ ordered the Muslims to go out. Even the women who could not, due to Hayd or so on, pray, were still ordered to go out just to listen to the khutbah. So it's very important to listen. It is not permissible, it is not acceptable for people to start hugging and giving the Eid greetings during the khutbah. No, in the khutbah you sit and you listen. Once the khutbah is over, and as in accordance to the tashbih of Jum'ah, there will be 2 khutbahs. The Imam will sit and get up and he'll give the second khutbah. When the khutbah is over, then after that to greet each other, there's nothing wrong with that. As the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to greet each other with taqabbal Allah minna wa minkum, Allah accept from us and you, to say something like this, or to even say ዒድ ሰዒድ, have a happy Eid or so on. Nothing wrong with that, but that is after the khutbah. Now when you greet after the khutbah, to greet your family, for men to greet other men, for women to greet other women, nothing wrong with that. But we don't go and start crossing lines and greeting non-mihrams and starting to have conversations, and no, you have to follow the rules of Islam in the place of Eid.